Parshat Vayetze. We begin with Jacob's dream. Jacob's dream is a very well-known story. When Jacob was fleeing from his brother Esau, Yaakov was running away from Esau because he had taken the blessings from his father. And he stops off and goes to sleep, and he has a dream. In this dream he sees a ladder that's reaching up to the heavens, and there are angels that are going up and coming down. And then we are told, Vayikatz Yaakov mishnasoi, Yaakov awakes from his sleep, and he turns round and he says, Ochein yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh, behold, there is God in this place. V'anochi lo yadati, I did not know. What does it mean that he did not know? Surely Yaakov would have known that God is everywhere. Why suddenly did he feel that there was an extra presence? Now there are a number of approaches to understanding this. One approach that I would like to share with you is the following. In his dream, he saw angels that were going up and going down. And the Medrash tells us that there were angels that went up certain steps and then fell down. And this was an allusion to the fact that we will be in exile for a certain amount of years and then it will end. And this was the falling down of the angels. He wakes up and he says as follows, behold, I know that in exile God will be with us. He wakes up and realizes that although the Jewish people will be in exile in this place, here Jacob was in exile. He was exiled from his home, but there is God with us. God is with us in exile. That I did not know. I didn't realize that Hashem would be with us. Those are the angels, symbolizing the accompaniment of the angels during our time in exile, where even if we don't see it, God and Hashem is with us at all times. We then move on later. Afterwards he turns round and he asks God, Hashem, for help, and he prays to Hashem, if Hashem will be with me and guard me in this way that I am going. And then he says, V'nosan li lechem le'echol ubeged lilbush, and he gives me bread to eat and clothes to wear. Well, what else is he going to do with bread? Obviously it's going to be eaten. And what else is he going to do with clothes? Obviously the clothes are going to be worn. What is the extra reference to lechem le'echol, bread to eat, as if to say there could be something else he would do, and beged lilbush, clothes to wear? Of course he's going to wear the clothes. Yaakov was asking here for a double blessing. He was saying, as we know, unfortunately sometimes we have bread, we have food, but we have no appetite. He was asking Hashem to give him peace of mind as well, that not only will I have the food and clothes to sustain me, but I will have peace of mind to be able to benefit from them. Unfortunately, when times are difficult, when we're going through a hard time, we lose our appetite. That's one of the first things that happens when we are stressed, when we are upset. We lose our appetite. And therefore Yaakov was saying, please Hashem, not only give me food, but please give me, when I'm traveling from my brother to this unknown place with Lavan and all the difficulties that we know we had later, please give me peace of mind to be able to eat the food and wear the clothes, i.e. that I won't have to take clothes and pawn them in order to get money and so on and so forth. And therefore this was a double blessing he was asking of Hashem. Later on, he arrives at Lavan's house and his uncle, and he says to Lavan, as we know, that I will work for your daughter. I will work for you, rather, in order to marry your daughter. He works, and what happens? We are told that, unfortunately, Lavan swindled him and gave him Leah, the older daughter, instead of Rachel, the younger daughter, who was the one that he wanted to marry. And when he challenges Lavan on this, Lavan gives him a very interesting response. He says, it is not done in our place to give the younger one before the older one. And that was the excuse that Lavan gave as to why he first gave him Leah, and then he would give him Rachel if he worked for another 7 years. But he uses the language, it is not done in our place, as if to say it is done elsewhere. What was he referring to? What Lavan was referring to was almost mocking Yaakov. He was saying to him, look, you may be used to that. You, who is the younger of the two brothers, you and Esau. Obviously, he knew the story about Yaakov taking the blessings from Esau, and he says to him, "Look, you might be used to taking the younger taking something before the older one, but here it is not done like this." That's the excuse that he gave him, as if to say, mocking him, "You may be used to it, but here we treat and we take the older one first, and then the younger one can have his share." And of course, as we know, Yaakov went and married both of them in the end, in the event. He marries Leah, then Rachel, and also each of them were given a maidservant, and he has children with them as well. And first he has children from Leah. Leah had 4 children, and after the 4th child, she calls him Yehuda, which means thanks, because she says, "Hapam oide es Hashem," this time I will thank Hashem. And the reason it is this time, what does it mean this time? This time is because she could see with divine inspiration that there were going to be 12 sons. 12 sons, which means between 4, each of them are to have 3 children. This was the 4th child, and therefore this was something over and above what she felt she was entitled to or she was going to have, and therefore there was an extra thanks that she gave. What she didn't do is she didn't pray for more. And therefore, straight away it says, as soon as she says, "Hapam oides Hashem," this time I will give thanks to Hashem, Vata amoid miledes, that right away she stopped giving birth. Even though she had more children later, she stopped giving birth at this point. Because we are told, and the Gemara tells us, that a person not only should he give thanks for something that's happened in the past, but at the same time as giving thanks to something that's happened in the past, we should always also pray for what is going to happen in the future or for more blessings in the future. We should never rest on our laurels because we never know what the future holds. So if we're blessed with something for the past, yes, thank Hashem, bless Hashem, but also ask Hashem at the same time for blessings in the future. And in fact, this is what Leah does, and therefore later on we are told, Vayishma, Hashem listened to Leah and gave her more children, because she obviously later on prayed for blessing of more children, and she was given more children from Yaakov. This is ultimately what happens, please God, when we not only thank Hashem for what we've had in the past, but we also ask Him for blessings in the future, that He will fulfill, like He did with Leah, the requests of the blessings for the future, and all of our blessings that we not only have received in the past, but also, please God, will receive in the future.